How did you feel? Like you did amazing, by the way. Like it was
No,
we were so impressed with you.
literally, I went from like, pretty okay to like just nothing. And I think I slept from Saturday evening until Tuesday at like 2 a.m. I woke up and my headache was finally gone. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Unfortunately, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Here's a quick update on Jason's swim. Stay with me to find out how it went. If you haven't yet seen the backstory about Jason and his swim across Lake Ontario, check out my other video where I interview him about why he wanted to do it, how he trains and stays motivated, and how he balances his training with his personal life and family. So I'm going to jump right into my behind the scenes update of Jason's swim. But if you want to have more details and more information, be sure to check out Vuk Dragojevic. He's doing a documentary, and I'm sure it's going to be great. So you can find his links in the description below. In order to prepare for the swim, Jason had to train for many months. He was going into the pool in the early mornings, multiple times a week for hours. In fact, one day he swam at a community pool for 8 hours straight, joined by a few people who had jumped in the pool with him while he was swimming to keep him company. That's also where he met one of the amazing young lifeguards who would eventually become one of Jason's pace swimmers on the day of his swim.
And I'm going to be a pacer for Jason. Nice. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your swimming.
Well, I was a swimmer for 10 years, and I've done a bit of open water, so I'm kind of ready for what's going to be happening. I'm just super excited, and I hope that my stamina keeps up with me.
That's awesome. Good luck.
Thank you.
And then once the weather got warmer, he was in the open water, and he was training with the waves. While Jason was training on a regular basis, he had to practice with different ways to get in his nutrients, his feeding while swimming. Yes, that's right. He can't take a break to eat or drink. He has to eat and drink while swimming or treading water.
Look at those sweet egg beater legs. Doesn't even need the pizza sauce spreaders. I'm saying you can tread water without your arms.
Oh, man. Look at me, Ma. No hands.
For his swim, since Jason had to swim all day and all night nonstop, he had a few people who would jump in to keep him company and help him stay motivated and help him keep up his pace throughout the swim. It took a lot of preparation, time, and dedication to get ready for the day of the swim.
One of my last open waters in. Maybe do another shorty tonight. Barbecue tonight. And
Sell some t-shirts.
sell some t-shirts, raise some more money.
Who wants a t-shirt? Send us a DM.
Who doesn't want a t-shirt? Send us a DM.
Any words of wisdom for the masses?
Just keep swimming, baby. Just keep swimming.
We'll take your advice. See you later. Go. Go! Go! Oh.
And on the day, he was actually up against a lot. What kept him going was the fact that he was raising money for a good cause. He had a huge and ambitious goal of reaching $50,000 in donations for CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. He had a great team of family and friends to help him out on the day of. The plan was to start later in the day so he could swim at night while he still had his energy and then finish the swim after the sun came up. But of course, things don't always go as planned. There was a thunderstorm expected. Jason ended up deciding to move the swim to an earlier time so that he could finish before the bad weather came in. That also meant less nighttime swimming, but it would mean that he would have to do the hardest part in the dark. So he took off at 8 a.m. from the beach in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
All right, we're about ready to head out on Lake Ontario. 51 kilometers, 20-ish hours. Should finish in Toronto, somewhere back that way in, 17 to 20 hours. Anyways, if you can, donate, support. Love you all. Thanks for your support so far, and we'll see you soon.
He had his support team, his family was there, everyone was supporting him and cheering him on.
Yeah.
Oh.
How's it going? How are you feeling?
I am feeling good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling like it's a nice day. The weather is good. He's ready to go. We're ready to do it.
He had a bigger boat to help make sure he was safe and make sure everyone was there with him. And then there were some smaller boats that would go closer to him, keep an eye on him, and give him his nutrients when he needed them. He had pace swimmers and spotting crew and also photographer, videographer. Now, it may seem fun, and for sure there was definitely some excitement in the air, but there was also, of course, risk and danger. When he was training in open water just a few weeks before the swim, they had one of the boats flip because of a big wave. Vuk lost a camera in the water. A bunch of support people ended up in the water. Thankfully, everyone was okay. But during this process, there have been many stressful moments, not just for Jason, but also for his family. In fact, on the beach on the day of the swim, I went to the beach to see him off, and his daughter Audie gave me a big hug and then whispered in my ear that she had a secret. We're keeping it together until Daddy leaves. Because Jason's family supports him. They've been there for him every step of the way. But also, part of them was terrified that something bad would happen, that the danger and risk might at some point be too much. And while he was lucky that it was a beautiful and sunny day when he left, it was not without its challenges. He started at Marilyn Bell Park in Niagara-on-the-Lake. There's a plaque with all of the names of the people who swam across the lake, including the park's namesake, Marilyn Bell, a 14-year-old girl who swam across the lake in 1954. When Jason started his swim, he had to deal with huge waves, sometimes reaching almost 6 feet. In fact, the waves were so bad that the boats were swaying so much that the crew started feeling nauseous. Many of them were throwing up while Jason kept swimming.
Yeah, I mean, the first while of the swim was brutal. Like, it was very wavy and not fun to swim in, but we pushed through.
Finally, after a few hours, things settled down. Apparently, Jason was doing great, powering through those huge waves. After a while, there were a few hours of calm waters. Jason's pace swimmers jumped in to keep him company, and there was even a bit of a party of sorts where other people jumped in because it was so nice and sunny, so he had a lot of moral support. He had been swimming for half the day already, but he was in good spirits and was making great progress.
Okay, so I feel like people keep thinking I'm in the water. So I'm Avery, Jason's wife, and I am on land with our 5-year-old. And these videos are all awesome videos that the crew is sending over.
And then the sun started to set. The winds and current picked up. They had to point him in almost a different direction so that when he was carried by the waves and swimming against the current, he would end up in the right spot. So Jason swam in cold water at night against heavy currents. The water temperature dropped and everyone was tense with worry.
The other part that I didn't realize is that there was an addition, like, you expect the current from the Humber River at the end, but there was another current that I guess was created from winds from earlier. Like, I don't know how the whole weather system works and how currents work, but hearing about it the next day, and then even hearing like the boat owners that were like, we struggled to fight the current. Like, you know, the lake was calm at that point. Like when we were done, there was no waves at the end. It was all current, right? So they said you were going backwards at certain points. Like, the current was pulling you backwards. Your pace didn't change, right? Like, Sean, the swim master, came out and counted my strokes throughout the time because that's part of his job. And he counted my strokes at the beginning, counted them near the end, and my pace hadn't changed. Like, I was swimming the same pace at 8:30, or the same number of arm strokes at 8:30 in the morning when I started and 2 in the morning when I finished.
After hours of swimming at night in the cold water against huge currents where he was barely moving, Jason finally decided it was time to get out.
Yeah, it was very clear at 2:30 in the morning, middle of the night, cold waters, that I was defeated or needed to admit defeat. Still didn't want to. Part of me didn't want to, but part of me knew that it was a very, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was very weird moment. And I think I I actually like punched the lake, the lake and swore, and yeah, then basically said that I gotta get out.
He swam for 18 hours and almost 40 kilometers.
Based on number of strokes per minute, it was clear that I went the distance. Like
Yeah.
it's like running on a treadmill, right? In one spot. Now I can't say that I swam 60 kilometers. That doesn't matter. Yeah.
He was so determined. He wanted to swim across the lake, yes, but more than anything, he wanted to honor those who are impacted by mental health and dementia. While preparing for his swim, Jason campaigned to raise his huge, ambitious goal of $50,000. And right before going to bed, the night before his swim, he found out that he had, in fact, reached his goal. But Jason had pushed until he had nothing left. He climbed into the boat, shivering, where his family had warm soup and towels ready for him. He spent the night throwing up while his family watched over him in case he needed to go to the hospital. He literally gave everything to this swim. And everyone who was around him, everyone who knows him, is so proud of what he did. He gave it his all. He raised so much money for such a good cause. And he came home safely to his family. You know, we talk so much about reaching your goals and having grit and perseverance, but we don't talk enough about knowing when it's time to stop, protecting your safety, preventing permanent damage, knowing when it's time to walk away because it's the right call. Jason made the right call that day. And while he was disappointed not to reach the other side of that lake, what was really important was his safety and the fact that he accomplished so much in the way of mental health research and support and awareness. In fact, in the days following his swim, Jason overshot his goal of raising $50,000. As of right now, he has raised $57,096 in honor of so many people, their families, and the future of the important work that will be done with this money. After a well-deserved, albeit short, rest, Jason made it to his celebration party to connect with CAMH and announce the donations.
That there was always this like something different about this swim, and I didn't really know exactly what it was, or maybe I did, just didn't want to admit it, until I was in the middle of the lake at 2:30 in the morning, sinking and getting weakening, and making the decision to pull myself out. But it was the fact that I had a daughter at home that needed me to come back. So
he made a very real, meaningful impact on the world with his swim.
It was a hell of a swim, and I mean, the crew was amazing. Like it's interesting. I think one of the things that is inspiring to me is just to see like all these random people and throw them in the middle of a lake, and everybody, for the most part, got along and was on board with the cause. But yeah, that's cool. Overall, it was a huge success.